Another interesting incident here in Bloomington Normal's history. Bloomington had a large population of upland southern settlers, meaning people from Kentucky, Tennessee, the upper part of the South. And being that they have people from the upper part of the South, they did have people here in the area that were more sympathetic to the plight of the Confederacy, the states that eventually seceded from the United States. And one of those residents was Sarah Withers. Her maiden name was Rice, and she and her husband Alan moved here to Bloomington. And then I think shortly after they moved here, her brother James Rice and his wife Martha moved and settled here as well. And they had been former slave owners in Kentucky. Sarah and Alan actually moved further west for a time, had more slaves, and then came back. Also had plans and intentions to move to Louisiana, had a plantation down there, had slaves down there, but things fell through once the Civil War began. An interesting incident in Bloomington happened just before the Civil War, where Sarah's brother, James, sold corn, as he was a farmer and a merchant here in town, sold corn to the governor of Louisiana. Now, Louisiana had really recently seceded from the Union around the end of January or early February of 1861. And the people of Bloomington were outraged. They were just tore at him and publicly humiliated him in the pages of the Pantagraph, all the local newspapers, just so angry that he would betray the Union where he lived in the North and sell grain to these Confederate traders. And so shortly after the incident, the townspeople, some of the townspeople of Bloomington decided to hang him in effigy, and where that means where you basically make a doll of that person, hang them by a noose, and then light the doll on fire. And there's the hatred and the feelings of the majority of the people of Bloomington made the Rices so uncomfortable they basically had to leave town. They were run out of town by these people. And Sarah Withers, James's sister, wrote in her diary on February 10th, "Rainy, muddy, murky Sabbath. My brother's effigy is hanging in the streets of this city. For what? Giving corn to his friends. Oh, ye righteous, black-hearted abolitionists, how cowardly." And Sarah was torn between the loyalty to her family and to her home in Kentucky, but then her loyalty to her new home of Bloomington. And so having any type of sympathy towards anything in the South or the Confederates or the plight of those people would look bad on her and her husband. So she was just torn and between a rock and a hard place.